Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Winging It, Destiny Rules Book 1 by Lisa Gail Green, and this is hosted by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Equilibrium Challenged. Slipping in a puddle under the broken water fountain should teach me to stop gawking at Jenna McIntyre, but I know it won't. I fell for her when we were 10, and in the 6 years since, I've continued to fall. And stutter, and make an ass out of myself in general. Good one, Zachy, she says, leaning down so that her golden hair swings in my face. She flicks my shoulders, sending shivers down all my nerve endings, straightens up, and heads off toward whatever her next class is. If I had any guts at all, I'd call her on all the humiliating things she's ever said to me. But I don't. Instead, I wonder if she moves that way on purpose. Her gaggle of wannabes follow in her wake, blocking the view. Their laughter bounces back down the hall even after I hear the door close behind them. It's only after the final bell rings that I realize I should probably breathe if I want to avoid passing out and drowning in an inch of water. So I shake myself and stand up, leaning on Emmett. I almost forgot he was there. I groan when I feel the heavy material of my soaked jeans clinging to my legs. Nice. Loitering now, I see, Mr. Slater. My 6th period's physics teacher's voice nearly makes me slip again. But, I start, save it for someone who cares. Get to your next class or I'll be happy to send you to detention. Mr. Crown slides his Coke bottle glasses up the bridge of his nose and curls his thin upper lip in distaste. I had an accident, I say in a rush. He raises his eyebrows, taking in my pants, and heat floods my face. Not that kind of accident. I slipped in the hall because of the broken fountain. I ought to threaten to sue. That's what happens when you run in the hallways. Is he serious? I draw my hands down over my face, trying to collect myself. Fine, I'm going, I say, slinging my backpack over my shoulder. Watch that attitude. He slams the door to his room, and I flip him off before turning back to Emmett, the only other person left in the now deserted hall. Take good notes, I say. I'm out of here. Thank God, Emmett says. I thought you were going to actually go to class like that for a minute. I think I've suffered enough public humiliation for one day. I shake out my leg and watch water drops splatter across the linoleum. Before Emmett can respond, a sudden burst of pain slices down my back. I collapse to my knees, certain my spine just splintered into 1,000 pieces. I scream, arching my body in agony. Emmett's at my side in a heartbeat. What happened? The pain disappears as fast as it hit. I reach out and haul myself back to my feet, using Emmett's arm for support. I don't know what that was, but it hurt like hell. I fumble for my cell. What are you doing? Emmett asks. Are you calling 911? That's not the number my finger hovers over. I hesitate, then press send. A minute later, I stuff the phone back in my pocket and shake my head. Well? Emmett asks. My mom's voicemail picked up, I admit. I don't have to look at him to know he's rolling his eyes. I had to check, okay? I had a weird feeling. Mama's boy. Emmett. Seriously, Zach, are you 16 or are you 6? It isn't normal to call mommy just because you have a boo-boo. You're lucky it's just me. If Ice Queen Jenna was still here, you'd be ruined. What's the difference? I ask, heading toward the door. She already thinks I'm pathetic. You need to get past this Jenna thing, Emmett says, keeping pace with me. Saying it doesn't make it any easier. I can't help how I feel, I say as I kick the door open. Too bad you aren't gay, Emmett says. That would solve both our problems. I'm not your type. He shoves my shoulder, and I stumble a little. No, you're not. You still haven't cut loose the umbilical cord. I need someone tall, dark, and dangerous. Yeah, well, if I meet him, I'll be sure and send him your way. I give him a less than enthusiastic fist bump and bound down the steps past the larger-than-life sign. Irvine High, California Distinguished School. Yeah, right. It's another beautiful day. The sun is shining, the sky is blue with little white puffy clouds, and the birds are singing. Seriously, couldn't it be raining for once? It's like nature doesn't have the good sense to know what a sucky day this has been. I mean, if it were raining, I would blend in, and the woman jogging her stroller down the street wouldn't be glaring at me like I was a mental case who just peed his pants. At least it's just a 10-minute walk home, and I only run into a few more people on the way. I glower at the kid who stops to gawk on his scooter as I make my way up the front walkway to my house. Shouldn't he be in school anyhow? "I'm home," I announce, throwing open the door. No answer. I fight off the memory of that feeling I had about my mom earlier and try to convince myself that something is finally going my way. Mom isn't home, so she won't know I'm skipping, or why. No reason to worry. Being a life consultant to the rich and famous means she works all kinds of crazy hours and keeps all sorts of hush-hush secrets. I run up to my room, throw my bag down, and peel off my pants with a sigh. I'm standing in my boxers, one foot balanced precariously over my fresh pant leg when the woman clears her throat from my doorway. "Shit!" I yell as I topple over, banging my head on the still open dresser drawer. In my defense, it hurts like hell. Plus, there's a strange lady in my house. "Zacharias Slater, watch your mouth." I gape up at her as she folds her thin arms over her chest. I can't help but think of a spindly tree with long withered branches. She has smooth brown skin, slit-like dark eyes, and a ton of silver hair piled up on top of her head. And when I say silver, I mean silver, like shiny metallic silver. I say, my voice an octave higher than normal. Who are you? And what are you doing in my house?" "Your mother sent me." I'm already having trouble wrapping my brain around her strange appearance when she turns around to shut the door. I clamp my mouth shut so I don't scream out any more obscenities because what I'm seeing can't possibly be real. She has wings. Clear, curvy, fluttery wings poking through her lavender shirt right over her shoulder blades. Chapter 2. I have the weirdest dream ever. I rub my eyes with my fists, forgetting that I'm only in my skivvies. I must have hit my head pretty hard. Is this real? It can't be. "I owe your mother, so I'm here to collect you for her. Gather your things, you'll be gone overnight." I open my mouth to speak, but find it impossible to articulate the things going through my mind. Do I start with where she came from? Why she has wings? Whether I ought to check into a mental hospital? "Honestly, if you didn't look so much like her, I'd think you were no relation at all." She snaps her fingers. "Get up. Get an overnight bag together. This is urgent." I finally manage to wriggle into my pants. If I'm going to lose my grip on reality, I want to do it with my clothes on. "Where are we going?" I ask, unsure if feeding into the delusion is good or bad. "To your mother, of course. Haven't I already explained that?" "No. Where is she?" A nervous tingle runs down my back as I remember that sudden pain in my impulse to call her. "Is she okay? What did you do to her?" I move toward her, ready for what? I'm not sure. "She's in the hospital." The words freeze me in my tracks. Now I hope I did hit my head too hard. "Is my mom okay?" I repeat, my voice cracking. "That all depends on you," she says. "Me?" Suffice it to say, she won't be going anywhere for a while. Now get moving. I gape at her. She can't be real. Am I actually unconscious and dreaming? I rub my still smarting skull while I try to figure out what to do. "Oh, for Faye's sake," she says, taking a step into the room. "Don't come any closer!" I yell, brandishing a wire hanger. It's the closest thing to a weapon in the mess on my floor. "How do I know you're really taking me to my mom?" "I can't believe it," Wing Woman says, slit-like eyes narrowing into little more than lines on her face. "Sharon truly didn't tell you, did she? You have no idea who you are." Her head falls forward like she's upset. Apparently my weapon made no impression on her. This is a disaster. "Who are you?" I ask again, letting the hanger fall to the ground. She's either for real or a figment conjured up by my injured brain. I've eliminated homicidal kidnapper from the list. I mean, there's no weapon, and I know I'm not exactly football star material, but she looks like I could blow her over with one breath. "I told you, I'm your mother's friend. My name is Ilan Dioruthia, if that's what you're asking." I'm sure my mouth is on the floor. I lean for short. "Are you ready yet? Have I not stressed the gravity of the situation? You have little enough time as it is." "Little enough time for what?" "To help your mother. Her recovery depends on you now, Zacharias." "But how am I supposed to—" "We do not have time for this!" My mouth opens, but nothing comes out. I don't think I should ask any more questions. She might answer. It turns out remaining silent doesn't help. Eileen unfolds her long arms to reveal a thin gold stick about 8 inches long with a glowing star on the end. Before I can make a sound, she waves it through the air, and a blinding light explodes from the tip, wrapping around both of us. My head feels like it's being ripped from my body, and I scream. The rest of me is yanked in all directions at once, like some insane taffy pull, and when I find my footing again, I stumble around like I'm drunk. I think I'm going to puke, I say. Eileen sneers and thrusts my backpack at me. You're fully packed. Now get it together, Zacharias. Your mother doesn't need to see you falling apart. This is about Sharon right now, not you. I try my best to do what she says. She's obnoxious, but if what she says is true, my mother needs me. A big part of me hopes this is all some freaky coma-induced hallucination. Eileen takes off at a fast pace, and I struggle to catch up once I'm righted. This isn't a hospital, I say. I've never seen a hospital that looked like this. It's more like a cave or a mansion. A mansion cave? This is getting weirder. Solid rock walls reach upward about 20 feet to a domed ceiling strung with rows of crystal chandeliers. The floor isn't dirt. It's a spongy moss-like carpet with a bright purple runner straight down the center. Archways run all along the sides, opening into round rock wall rooms. They're filled with gilded furniture so intricately carved I get dizzy if I try to focus on any one point. They look like bedrooms because they all contain a giant 4-poster bed and some chairs and tables. Of course it is. This is the hovel's hospital wing, she snaps over her shoulder. I now notice several of the beds are filled with figures lying still within. They look so tiny and fragile but maybe it's just the size of the bed that makes them seem that way. I nearly smack into Eileen's back when she stops suddenly at one of the rooms. Sorry, I mumble, but when I turn my attention to the room, I forget everything else. It's my mom, all right. She's propped up in one of the giant golden beds, looking just as small as all the others. Her skin is pale, and I notice dark bruise-like circles beneath her eyes. She's smiling at me, though. The same brilliant smile that lights up her eyes that she's always given me. The one that makes me feel like a toddler and a king, all at the same time. I smile back. Mom, are you okay? I run to her, but stop before bouncing on the bed. I don't want to hurt her. I've been better, she says, taking my hand in hers, but I'll be fine. What happened? I ask. What is this place? Sit down, Zach. I see something serious in her hazel eyes, and I sit gently on the edge of the bed. The mattress is so soft that I sink down almost a foot before settling to a stop. I notice the scent of fresh roses and find myself relaxing a bit. I have to go now, but I will check on you later, Eileen says from the doorway. I turn in time to see her swirl her stick thing through the air and disappear in a burst of light. This is the weirdest dream I've ever had, I say. It isn't a dream, Mom says. I turn back to her. No, I'm pretty sure it is. The wings kind of gave it away. Mom's face falls at the word wings, and I clamp my mouth shut. Her eyes tear up, and her shoulders start to shake with sobs. Mom, I'm sorry. What did I do? Did something start to hurt? Should I call a doctor or something? No, she says, sniffling. No, it's just, that's why I'm here. Why you are here? I ask. What happened? I mean, 1 minute I'm standing in the hall. The next I'm calling you because of some bizarre pain. Someone's stolen my wings. The rest of the words dry up on my tongue. Yeah, definitely a dream. Chapter 3. My mom makes a request. Ow! I jump off the bed, rubbing my sore arm. Why'd you pinch me for? I'm sorry, Zach. I'm just tired of you saying this is a dream. This is serious, and I need you to accept it so we can move on. We only have an hour or so before you start. Before I start what? I ask, not sure if I want to sit back down. Let's go back to the beginning, she says. We are Fae. Fae? That's right. She watches me closely before going on. I am a Destiny Fulfillment Support Liaison. A what? I ask. Did you change your job title? It sounds better than Life Consultant. Pay attention, Zach. She purses her lips and tries again. A DFSL is what you might call a fairy godmother. Uh-huh. Maybe there's a hidden camera somewhere? Seriously, that's why you've never seen me work. You work from home when I'm at school, sometimes at night. That's right. Mom, are you on some kind of painkillers or something? I ask, looking around for an IV or any other kind of familiar hospital equipment. I'm not comforted by the smattering of brightly colored fluids in pint-sized containers on the table in the corner. Zach, I am a destiny liaison, and now I've lost your wings, I supply. Yes, they were taken, and now I can't complete my assignments. Mom, no matter what your job is, they have to give you a break if you're injured. No, these assignments are very important. That's why I was sabotaged, Zach. Someone is trying to make sure I don't complete them, and that's why I need your help. Mom, I'm trying to understand this, really, but you have to give me a break here. Fairies? We prefer the term fae. Now, open the night table drawer, she says. She waits until I move around to the other side of the bed and do as she says. Inside is the same kind of thin stick Eileen had, only it's pink, and instead of a star, there's a heart at the top. Great. Take it out, she says. I swallow and gingerly pull the thing out of the drawer. I remember how it felt when Eileen brought us here, and I don't want to cause an accident. Good, Mom says. That is a wand. Why does it have to be so dainty? I ask, twirling it in front of my eyes. I mean, they look cool in Harry Potter. Harry Potter isn't real, and he's a wizard, not a fairy. So what am I supposed to do with it? I ask. Tap your back, she answers. I hesitate, but when she coughs and grimaces in pain, I do as I'm told. Instantly, a searing pain spreads over my shoulder blades, and I shrug in response. Then it's over, but something feels weird. My back itches, and it feels like something is pressing against my skin. I reach back with my free hand to scratch it or swipe at it like a bug, but my fingers meet something soft and flexible. I grab hold and yank. Then I'm screaming, partially from the intense pain and partially from the shock. Shit, shit, shit! I wave the wand on instinct alone, and a full-length mirror appears in front of me just like I wanted. I twist around to get a glimpse, and there they are. Two symmetrical, slightly pointy, iridescent protrusions about 3 feet long and half as wide. I have wings. Freaking fairy wings. Shit!